You know, the other day I was driving my car, and it was interesting because I have the satellite radio in my car. Some of you do, some of you don't. Some of you have it on your phone, on your on I believe, is it, yeah, on your computers as well. Yeah. So I was driving, listening to the radio, and as I'm listening, usually sometimes that's when the moment you start thinking about certain ideas and stuff like that. To me, that's what happens. So what I did was today, as I'm driving, I had an idea of, I know I had the podcast of Vinyl and Vibes. Why don't we do a vibes part? A vibes part, which is more like a transparency, tell you what I think, share with you certain things, certain music, certain ideas. And this is the vibes part that I want to work into. And you let me know in the comments below and of what you think. So today today I was on the in the car driving, and I started listening to my podcast. I mean, not to my podcast. I started listening to I started listening to the radio. I would think it was the either the classics radio. So as I go and I'm listening to it, and what pondered to me is that I started listening to an artist that I started listening to when I was younger. Now, the thing with this is that it was a current artist. It was back in the 90s, 2000s, and he was just talking about the music from the past. Now, for me, as I was young, I don't know if you lived in a household where you had a parent on a certain day, they would basically, they'll clean the house, they have the music. Like for me, for instance, on a certain day, like on a Sunday, my mom would go, she would start cleaning the house, from Friday, Saturday, as a kid running around, Sunday came, and Sunday was the wind down day. Sunday was the wind down day, and it was kind of like, we got to get our stuff together. Tomorrow's school, and during that time in the morning, she would have classical music, like classical Spanish music, and I would just be like, oh man, mom, why do you listen to this? This is like really like, but my mom just listened to it anyway because that was, I believe, that was her music during her age growing up, what she remembered. Now, what I learned, and maybe you as well, is that you probably had the same similar situation where you would listen to what your parents would listen to, the music, and you'd be like, oh man, why are you listening to this? This is not the music of what I know. But as you get older, you start listening to this music and you be like, wow, even at a later age, it could be 20, 30 years from now, you listen to that music of what your parents listened to, and you're like, wow, this is good stuff. I mean, it was relevant to what was going on, whether it's love, breakup, family. It was relevant stuff. It was good, clean music, and that's how I grew up. So, and saying in that, as growing up, during the 90s and 2000s, we were familiar with I guess he would say a reggae artist named Shaggy. Now we know Shaggy from It Wasn't Me, and all his classical songs that they were hip, and they were just like talking about relationships and love and all kinds of sorts of things. But one thing that Shaggy did, which kind of reminded me, he started, and I can say he started doing more music, but instead of doing the music that he used to do, he took it back a little bit. So what I did listen to was Shaggy, and he took songs from Frank Sinatra. Now these different eras. These are two different eras. You know, you know, old Blue Eyes, and then you have Shaggy, who was a Jamaican singer, and it was kind of like, it's almost like oil and vinegar. It doesn't mix. But what he did do is that he took this music from Frank Sinatra, which was like, to me now, was like unbelievably. You can sit there and listen to it, and it's so relevant, and it just speaks truth. And it was like, wow, that's something else. People may have their opinions about it. Frank Sinatra this, Frank Sinatra that. But if you listen to his music, you'll be like, wow, this is some good stuff. They don't play music like this anymore. So what Shaggy did, he took a few of his songs and worked with, I believe, another artist named Sting and put together a few songs from Frank Sinatra. Now, this is the part of Vibes where I wanted to share with you where we take something that's really not normal, very transparent, and share it. And this is what something I want to do with you. So, from me to you, I want to share with you Frank Sinatra and Shaggy. Let's go.
Sometimes it's up and sometimes it's down. One thing for sure, you know that the world keeps spinning around. Do you hear that? Where you feel no say life for living, and life could be so very unforgiving. They don't say that's a life. That's life. That's what all the people say. You're flying high in April, shot down in May. But I know I'm gonna change that too. When I'm back on top in June. I'll say that's life. As funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks stomping on a dream. But I don't let it get me down. 'Cause this fine old world keeps spinning around. I'll be a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn, a king. I've been up, down, and over, and out, and I know one thing. Each time I find myself laying flat on my face, I pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life. I can't deny. I thought of quitting, baby, but my heart just ain't gonna bite. If I didn't think it was worth one single try, I'd jump right on that big bird and then I'd fly. I'd be a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn or a king. I've been up and down, over and out, and I know one thing. Each time I find myself laying flat on my face, I pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life. I can't deny. I thought of quitting, baby, but my heart just ain't gonna buy it. But if there ain't nothing changing come this July, I'm gonna roll myself up in a big ball and die. Oh my, oh my, oh my, that's life. Oh yeah, that's life. Yeah.
Well, there you go, guys. Frank Sinatra and Shaggy, or should I say, Shaggy singing Frank Sinatra songs. Amazing. Amazing. It's something that you wouldn't even expect. But this is the part of Vinyl and Vibes I want to share with you and be transparent. So if you have any requests, if you have any comments, just hit below and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you can always stay in tune. I'm Crew 704, and thank you. This is Vinyl and Vibes. Peace.